What I have found in my research is that so many times fear holds people back in the workplace and in life from doing what they know they should do or they want to do to achieve their goals. And the science of bravery is, how do we look at psychology to help people conquer those fears so they can be more successful, but probably more importantly, be their happiest, when they accomplish these goals. So that is what my current focus is.
Welcome back to the Ideas by Mike podcast. This is Mike Milligan. Today, I'm joined by a very special guest. We're recording late on a Friday afternoon, so if you're watching this, forgive us. Our energy may be drained completely, but we're going to give you everything we got today. Jill, welcome to the Ideas by Mike.
Thanks for having me. It is late on a Friday. I might have a martini by my side by the end of this.
That's where we should have done this. I had this whole idea one time when I was going to create a podcast. I was going to do it like at a bar and literally just do bar stool financial advice where, people will tell their bartender anything. And
that is a one-of-a-kind idea, my friend.
No doubt. Speaking of that, what makes you one of a kind?
I think what makes me one of a kind is I think I'm an interesting combination of three things, and I haven't found someone who is like me. So I'm one part Marine, kind of tough girl, have that background of one of the first women ever to serve in a combat arm in the Marine Corps. So I've got that tough part. Then I've got part of me that is the academic nerd. I've got my master's in positive psychology from the University of Pennsylvania. So the only thing I talk about is things that is backed by evidence. So I've kind of got tough girl combined with nerdy girl that is everything is evidence-based. And then lastly, I've also got 27 years in corporate America knowing how to drive business results. So I feel like I've got the practical side too. So I think those three things kind of make me one of a kind.
There's no doubt that is unique. And I mean, like in my 30 years of academic work and running businesses, I haven't met the Marine / academic / corporate go-getter.
Good.
The best way to say it. So tell us where you are and what you're doing like right now to kind of drive results for individuals and companies.
Yeah. So I currently have a leadership development business. It's been 11 years. So I help companies drive the bottom line through basically the human side of business. So leadership development and culture. But what I'm really working on right now, which I'm most excited about, is I have become a researcher, writer, and speaker on the science of bravery, which relates to leadership development. What I have found in my research is that so many times fear holds people back in the workplace and in life from doing what they know they should do or they want to do to achieve their goals. And the science of bravery is, how do we look at psychology to help people conquer those fears so they can be more successful, but probably more importantly, be their happiest, when they accomplish these goals. So that is what my current focus is. So I've still got the business doing leadership development, and I'm kind of bringing people on my team to deliver some of the standard classes, but I'm all in teaching the science of bravery.
We're going to come back and ask like a past question in just a second, but one of the most interesting things about being an advisor to those looking to retire is one of the scariest things that people go through in their life is this transition from work to retirement, because they've never been there before. And many people think that like retirement is death, which is not. It's actually a new beginning, a chance to live the last chapters of your life. I mean, I would love it if you could like talk to somebody who's like 60, 65, 70 retired and just give them like some ways to be brave real fast. And then we'll come back to the past in just a second.
Yeah. And what you're saying is people are scared. There's fear to make this big change. So many times whenever there's a large life change or even a career change, people resist because of fear. And, so one advice I can give everyone to help overcome that fear is just think of your future self and say, what does your future self want you to do in this moment? And sometimes if you listen to your future self, like as a wise mentor. It's going to guide you the right way. You have been working hard. You got all the financial resources. And what I know as a happiness scientist, because someone who studied positive psychology, as long as you have purpose, connection, and goals that you're working on, you will live the most fulfilling life. And this comes from like Arthur Brooks has written a lot on how to age, and into your years and be the happiest life. So you're not going to stop being ambitious. You're still going to like go after goals. They're going to be goals that are a lot different. So as long as you've got that sense of purpose and you set goals and you've got connections, you're going to live the most fulfilling life. So it's
It
just going to be different.
it's interesting because we build the one of a kind financial plan so people can live the one of a kind life, but we always tell people that you start that journey to the one of a kind plan with building a vision for retirement. And it's interesting the words you use because we tell them they have to build a retirement chi. And the chi is like the inner peace, the comfort knowing that where you
Mhm.
are, where you sit, you are going to have fear and anxiety that's reduced. But we say the chi is made up of three elements: your community, your health, and your impact. And you said something there that I've never thought about with retirement chi before. You said that you could still have goals in retirement that are achievable. And
Mhm.
like, I don't, the 80-year-old who's listening to this right now, who's thinking that I'm at the end of my life, they still have goals. The 65-year-old, the early retire at 58, they still have goals. And they can impact, they can mentor at schools, they can be with their grandkid,
Exactly.
they could travel. There's all of this thing that this positive momentum that goes forward, even into retirement, that's there. But I want to take our listeners back to how you got here. So when was the first time in your life? And I hope it was Jill when she was 3, but I don't know what the answers to this are going to be. When's the first time Jill knew she was going to be kind of this kick-ass Marine corporate person, academic person? When did you know this?
The first thing that come to mind is what I'm gonna tell you, because like, what I'm doing now, like, sometimes you need to study, like, what you really need for yourself. So the fact that I studied and have become this expert in bravery, you think that I was already brave because I was a Marine and did all these, like, amazing corporate things, but, um, there's something that I've always wanted, and I came to that moment of realization when I was 27 years old. I had
Mm,
just gotten out of the Marine Corps, and my first corporate job was in the pharmaceutical industry. And I was at my first national sales meeting, and it was like thousands of people. It was a big company, it was Abbott Labs at the time. And I was just like in awe because I had never been in corporate America, like all these people in this fancy hotel. And they had this keynote speaker. He had written a book on the power of mindset and attitude. His name was Keith Harrell, and he was the most inspiring. He had a book and it made such an impact on my life because he said this little thing. He says, each day you can decide to have a super fantastic day.
mm.
He's like, it's a decision you can make. And so every time someone asks him, how you doing? He says, super fantastic. So usually when people ask me, and I'm 51 years old now. That was when I was 27. I still
I
say super
was
fantastic.
you didn't have to say that. We don't ask your age on here because we know we're not supposed to ask women that, but, like, if you wanna give your weight too while we're at it, we can
Oh yeah,
also.
I'll just do that too.
Yeah.
We're not going there.
No, right.
So this happened at 27. And I was so impressed and inspired by him. Now, a little background too is I was the nerdy kid that was in speech team in high school. Like I just
Mm,
had a dream of like, and so this guy was like a superstar, and I think he's like a 6'6" man. Um, and I chased him down, this little like blonde thing, 27 years old. And I remember going like, Mr. Harrell, like, can I ask you some questions? And I just told him, I'm like, I want to do what you're doing someday. And he sat with me for like maybe 10 minutes, gave me some advice. That's when I was 27.
mm.
I'm finally doing it right now.
Wow.
So I'm now starting to live my dream, and I do like keynotes, I do my writing, my research on it. That's kind of the moment where I feel like I saw a glimpse of what I really wanted to do, and I'm finally taking the brave steps to live my
Have
dream.
have you had the reverse of that moment yet where you've given a keynote, somebody's come up to you at the end of a event and said and you've given them 10 minutes? Have you had that happen?
I've had that happen a lot, and it's kind
Ha
of that full circle moment where people are like, "I wanna do what you're doing someday," right? And I always give them the time, and I give them my card and say, "Keep in touch with me." Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah. I just
it's interesting that you when I ask you to think back to a moment, you think of that time with his name was Keith, right?
Keith Harrell, mhm,
Yeah.
he's
It
passed away since then, but he's still stays with me today.
there's a nod to Keith's legacy right there, right? Even though
Yeah,
he's passed away, his name is still spoken on earth. That's absolutely amazing, and that message still resonates through your talks also.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
let's think 10 years from now.
Mhm,
What impact do you hope you can make,
mm.
um, to, just to make everything better?
Yeah. Well, the original reason I started researching the science of bravery is because I started looking at the data that talked about how fear is having a negative impact on people. And I say that just in general, like all people, but particularly to our younger generation. Like I think I see the world sometimes through the eyes of the younger generation because I have kids, two daughters, 18 and 20, and when they're teenagers, I think, and let me just state some facts here. Like, we have the highest levels of anxiety and depression diagnosed in our younger generation. And part of the reason for that is because um, people think that the path to the happiest life is to avoid discomfort and to run away from what they fear. And it's simply not true. And there's not a lot of research done on the science of how to build bravery. Like I cite all the existing research out there, but we need to do more research on it. So the impact that I want to make on the world is I want to do more research and I want to teach people how to be brave. People think that bravery is a trait. You either have it or you don't. And that is not true. Anyone can build bravery. And when they do, they not only are more successful, and I do care about that, but what happens is their self confidence, their self
Mhm,
efficacy, their self love increases. And then that's going to help them avoid that depression and anxiety. So that is the mark that I want to make. Now, I speak at corporations, so that's kind of who pays the bill. But like, I think that's the mark I want to make. If I can make a little contribution to the scientific community by doing more research on the science of bravery and then teaching it to as many people as possible. So right now, because I'm just getting started, I speak on my model, on what I write about in my book. I hope in 10 years, I will certify many great speakers and
mm.
consultants because the work is needed out there. So that's my dream that it scales and more people are helping deliver it.
I'll give you a chance to impact the younger generation real fast if you want one.
Sure. I'd love
So
it.
I have 2 daughters. I have 3 kids, but I'll talk about my daughters here. I have a 24-year-old daughter in Birmingham, Alabama, that
Okay.
her primary goal is trying to keep food out of landfills, right? So she's in a program called Feed Birmingham, and I have another daughter who's 20 who wants to go in nonprofit space too and, like, serve others. Um, they're both brave. I think my daughters are 2 of the bravest people, which is interesting that we're talking about this is because of, like, what they're choosing to do in life, but if you could tell Grace and Paige how to elevate braveness, how would you do that?
I would say that when you feel that fear is not a stop sign. Many time it's a signpost at the most important thing that your soul wants you to do.
Mm.
So it sounds like they're already brave, but what I love hearing about your daughter. So great job raising two amazing girls. But
Well, their mom
when
did
you
a great job.
and their mom too. Let's
Yeah.
give her a little bit of credit there. But if you have a powerful why, so like a lot of times when we want to be brave, the definition of bravery is voluntary action in the presence of fear toward a worthwhile, noble goal. So your girls have found that worthwhile, noble goal, that thing that they really, really care about. So they have that. And there's going to always be between the impact they want to make in the world and where they are now, there's going to be things that get in the way of them and that goal. And many times that fear is going to hold them back. So,
Mm.
um, when they feel the fear, it's just usually like sometimes fear keeps you safe, right? Back in caveman days, fear kept us safe. But now in today's world, many times it's more of a sign like be curious and go, this is probably what I need to move toward instead of move against, right? So if you feel the fear, lean in.
Wow, that's amazing advice. Quick question. What's your savings account doing for you right now? Probably not much. If you're like most people I talk to, you've got money sitting in a bank account earning basically zero interest. Meanwhile, inflation's eating away at your future. That's where the high yield savings plan comes in. It's a flexible savings approach with potential tax deferred growth, no direct fees, and the potential to average around 4 to 7% of annual growth. It's not magic. It's just a different financial vehicle that many people aren't familiar with. We'll walk you through how it works, see if it's a good fit for you, and answer all your questions. No pressure. Click below to learn more and explore whether this approach makes sense for you and your goals. I got some just off the wall questions for you, real fast, just so our
Sure.
people get to know you before we give them a chance to connect with you.
Okay.
Um, Not a stock, so not like Nvidia or Microsoft. Not What's the best investment you've ever made in your life?
Real estate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
Real estate.
interest
Yeah. I
Interesting.
mean, financial investment is what you're saying. You're saying financial investment, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I would say real estate, like when I was younger, I decided actually to get my real estate license when I was young. And we just made some wise investments when the market was crashing and everyone was like short sailing and trying to like sell houses, I bought. and
Wow.
so and that requires some bravery. And that's another thing that kind of ties in like sometimes when there's fear and uncertainty, um people either freeze or they flee, right? So in those circumstances, like, we just know this, like, the courageous usually get the favor or the fortune that comes from it. So in times of uncertainty, look and see what's going on, but make the brave steps because you'll be one that will benefit. So that's one thing. I also think education, investing in education has also been a good investment, but I think real estate comes to mind.
It's interesting because you talk about, like, having bravery to invest. I make this joke all the time when I'm either doing my radio show or, just doing a stage event that if I made an offer to people that they could come to my office today and buy a 2027, you name the vehicle, Mercedes G-Wagon, Chevy Tahoe, whatever the vehicle is. You can come today and you could buy a 2027 for a price that it was in 2022. I'd have people lined up around the block to come to my
Yeah.
office. But when it comes to like depreciated things, like you mentioned, real estate during like a short sale time, the
Mhm.
stock market, when it goes down in value, everybody's like, they flee, they run. But
Mhm.
like, everybody will buy something when it's on sale, a car, a piece of clothing, some furniture, but they don't buy assets when they're on sale because they're scared of them going down. And like what you
Yeah.
just said, I was shocked to hear you say real estate. I thought for sure you were going to say education based off your three.
Yeah. No,
The
real estate.
Yeah, interesting. That is so interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
you know what you said, I just wanna add something here because it's funny because I give my dad a hard time because my dad is exactly what you say, like, when the market's doing well for, like, 6 or 7 years, he'll be like, "Alright, I'll start investing," and anytime it takes a downturn, he waits until it crashes, then he pulls out, and I'm like, "Dad, like, come on." Like, when the market goes down, like, I have a long way till retirement. I'm like, "Yes, it's on sale," and I
yes.
call my financial advisor and I'm like, "Buy." So, I'm so with you, but you're right, people just they get scared and, we just talk about back to fear. If everyone is retreating and you're the one moving forward, you're gonna be ahead.
Yeah. There's a big difference, like you were talking about that investment that your dad made. There's a big difference between investment return and investor return.
Mm.
Investor, like emotional decisions, and the investor return causes investment returns to lag, and that's
Ah,
there.
got it. Yeah.
Um, the I would love for you to pour in, like, as we conclude, like, pour into our audience a little bit, like a couple of and you've done this for the last 15 minutes about like what it means to live bravely. But I know your definition of this is going to change as you continue to do research. But
Mhm.
I know you feel deeply that everybody has it within them. Like I believe everybody is one of a kind. I know you believe everybody has it in them to be brave.
Mhm.
What is that? What does that look like?
I think there's always a gap between the life we're currently living and then the life that we really want, or maybe the impact we've had and the impact that we want to have, or maybe it's the relationship that we have and the relationship that we want. So it's very healthy for us to like evaluate our life and our life situation and then dream about what is a life that would make me the happiest. And when you figure out where you are in that life that you really want, the path to getting there, right, is many times filled with ups and downs and things that are scary. And the really sad thing in life is someone could be, let's say, pretty miserable in their career, but it's a good job and it's good money and there's good benefits, but I'm really miserable. And they really have a dream to do something a little bit adjacent, but they just never do it because
Mm.
they're scared. So, life is too short. If you want to live your happiest, best life, again, from a happiness scientist, is bet on yourself and move in the direction toward the life that you really want. Because, happiness is something that is attainable for everyone. But if you just allow fear to control you, and it's like in life, like people just let life, they're just like floating in the river of life and they just let life take them down because this is just the situation they're in. Like we have agency. We have an ability to decide the life that we want. It will be scary and a little uncomfortable to get there, but that is what I want for everyone. So hopefully that helps.
That helps amazing. Like, so if people wanted to follow and know more about you, where can they do that?
Yeah. So I am probably most active on LinkedIn because I work in the corporate environment. So people can follow me. It's just Jill Schulman on LinkedIn. I also have a website where if anyone wants to learn more about Bravery, I've got a free Bravery assessment. They go on
Mm.
my website, jillschulman.com. So JILLSCHULMAN.com. Take the free bravery assessment, and then you can download a free bravery blueprint, which gives you all these evidence based actions you can take based on mindset, which is cognitive psychology, behavioral psychology, and social psychology. So you can apply it right away. And of course, if you want to check out my book called The Bravery Effect, you can buy that anywhere books are sold. Yeah, but if you type in Jill Schulman Bravery, you can follow me on any social media platform you'd like. I'm trying to be better on some of these other ones that I'm like
It's
TikTok and
impossible.
yeah, YouTube.
It's
And
impo it's
yeah,
impossible to
I
keep up
know.
with all these. Absolutely impossible. Yeah, hire your 18 and 20-year-old to do that for you. Create a little family payroll there, and they could do your TikToks for you,
Exactly.
right?
You know what? I've done that. I'm not the smartest when it comes to financial plan. I need friends like you or people that are smart there, but my girls have been working for me and I'm proud that they have a pretty darn good retirement started
That's
already.
amazing.
Yeah.
The start of a retirement. They're not
Oh,
ready to
the
retire
start.
yet. Yeah, they
No,
need to be.
a very small start, but you know what? The seeds of their tree their sapling is pretty strong right now to keep growing.
Thanks for joining us on the Ideas by Mike podcast today.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike.
Again, we want to thank Jill Schulman for being on the Ideas by Mike podcast. That was an amazing conversation about being brave. And she gave you her information on where you can connect with her on LinkedIn, where you can buy her book. But I just want to talk about what bravery means to that pre-retiree or somebody working toward that end of life financial goal, because at the Ideas by Mike podcast, we bring this to you to try to help you live a one of a kind life, and bravery is a big part of moving from one size fits all models into the one of a kind financial plan so that you can live a one of a kind life. Resources found outside of the traditional approach help you break free from retirement deja vu and the one size fits all. So I encourage you to spend some time looking at Jill's information. Look beyond the typical world of financial advice to find your peace and calm when it comes to building your one-of-a-kind life. Thanks again for joining us today. If you want to connect with us, go to oneoakfinancial.com. That's the number one, oakfinancial.com. As a reminder, I am an investment advisory rep with Advisory Alpha LLC. Advisory Alpha LLC is a registered investment advisory firm based in Holland, Michigan. Ideas by Mike, doing business as One Oak Financial, is an educational, coaching, and financial services business that is unaffiliated to Advisory Alpha LLC. Our relationship with Advisory Alpha is for investment management services to you, our clients. Today's content has been for educational purposes only. Do not use this to make any investment recommendations. Consult a licensed financial professional before making any of those. Until then, this has been Mike Milligan with Ideas by Mike. Thank you for logging in and listening or watching to another episode of Ideas by Mike. If you enjoyed this podcast, you could help me by liking it, subscribing to our channel, and telling others about what we're doing. See, guys, we're looking to change the game. And that game is about making financial planning more about you. Until next time, this has been Mike. CFP Board owns the marks CFP, Certified Financial Planner, and CFP in the United States. As a reminder, Mike Milligan, Certified Financial Planner, is an investment advisor representative of Advisory Alpha LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisory firm. All opinions expressed by me or our guests are solely our own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Advisory Alpha. This recording is for informational purposes only. It should not be relied on for investment, tax, or legal decisions, and it's in no way intended to communicate or guarantee specific performance or suitability of any security instrument or product, as we may have discussed. Investment advisory and financial planning services offered through Advisory Alpha LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance is offered through Ideas by Mike, a Virginia-based LLC, here to serve you in all 50 states and the District of Columbia. Ideas by Mike is a separate and unaffiliated entity of Advisory Alpha LLC. While tax and legal issues may be discussed in the general course of financial and investment planning, Advisory Alpha does not provide tax or legal services. Please consult with your tax or legal professional prior to making a decision relative to those decisions. Any and all statements of purported or observed general practices of non-affiliated firms and advisors or conditions of the broad financial services industry are solely the opinions of Mike and are not intended to be offered as factual. The validity of these statements has not been verified, and as such, no representation of their validity are made. An annuity is a long-term financial product designed largely for asset accumulation and retirement needs. All guarantees are backed by the claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. This podcast is produced in conjunction with Mike Milligan, LLC. Thank you again for joining us today. We'll see you on the next podcast.